As dorky as it sounds, every year I look forward to this period because of yearly favorites videos. I love watching yearly favorites videos because it kind of transcends all the monthly favorites and the favorites of the moment. It's like cutting through all the noise to get to the really good stuff. And that's what I have for you today. So I hope that you enjoy yearly favorites just even half as much as I do. I'm going to link all of my previous yearly favorites videos in the description box because looking back at all those videos, I was looking back at them last night, I still absolutely adore every single product that I mentioned in those, so well worth a watch. Oh, let's get straight into it. The Natasha Denona Star Palette. I did try to clean this, but it's messy. Well loved, right? Messy products are well loved. I have quite a few Natasha Denona palettes, and all of her eyeshadow formulations are stunning, right? But the Star palette is actually most neutral. It's her most neutral palette, at least to my eye. So it's the one that gets the most love and wear in my real life. I actually wore this to my uni graduation. So I've got some really good mattes. The mattes are stunning and the shimmers are really, really impactful. I really love these three mattes. Also this one here. See, I can't even choose. This rose gold all over the lid. That's the one I wore on my graduation. It is stunning. And then you've got a few glitters here if you really want to have some fun. Minor critique, these two shades are so gosh darn similar that I think that one could have easily been omitted and maybe replaced with a black. I like black in palettes. I think it makes a palette more complete. Generalizing here, but Natasha Denona palettes, they're geared towards those who love a big eye look, right? So be honest with yourself. If you more often than not just do a little bit of shading, there's other palettes for that. The Charlotte Tilbury Instant Eye Palette. I reviewed this in my 3 Looks 1 palette video using this baby, so I'll link that on the screen and I'll keep this brief. I have used this palette non-stop since I received it. I use it for daytime shading, I've used it for cut creases in the evening, I even used it on a bride the other day. I just find it to be really versatile. We've got some warmer tones and some cooler tones. It has a black, it's super easy to navigate. It's very clear to me that this palette was created by someone who really understands makeup. Top notch. I'm gonna flip-flop between different categories of makeup, just to keep you guys on your toes. So this is the Too Cool for School Coconut Milky Mist. This is not like the Urban Decay All-Nighter Spray. It's not a film former and it's not designed to prolong the wear of your makeup, right? It's more of a hydrating or a finishing spray like MAC Fix Plus. It will settle any powders on the skin, and if perhaps my makeup is looking a little bit cakey or a little bit dry, Milky Mist is always the answer. I actually prefer Milky Mist to the MAC Fix Plus because look at this. The spray is so incredibly fine, I can barely feel it actually landing on my face, so it doesn't spit and it never ruins your makeup. The finest mist I've ever encountered. Yes. It is rare for me to finish and repurchase foundations. There's only been a handful, mostly Armani foundations and Colgate Aqua, but the YSL Fusion Ink Cushion Foundation has joined the rankings of repurchase foundations. I think this is actually my 3rd or 4th compact. I was really confused for a while because I couldn't find this on European and American sites because they list it by the French name. Derp, it took me like 4 months to figure that out. They market this as a matte foundation, shine free. No. No, not at all. And also this is not at all similar to the Fusion ink in the bottle, totally different formulas. This one is quite dewy and really skin-like, and I can apply it without a mirror. I have featured this in a few tutorials, but really it's my casual base product, right? If I was going to uni or if I was going out to the shops or family lunch or something like that. So I've pretty much used it almost every day, all year long. Love. The Pure Eye Polishes. So these are kind of like a liquid eyeshadow and they come in a whole bunch of shades, but I do prefer the lighter shades because my favorite way to use them is just to pop a little bit onto the center of the lid as a bit of a top coat. So we have the shade here Cashmere, which is kind of like a creamy beige, and the shade Silk, which is a rose gold. The packaging does kind of irk me on this, but I'll give it a pass because the product is so good. It's a very good replica of glossy eyes without having to actually put gloss on the eyes, which is a lovely look, but definitely more editorial and it will get creasy. These don't crease. Estee Lauder Pure Color Envy Lash Multi Effects. That's a mouthful. This is a funny one. When you look closely at the wand, you can see that one side of the wand is a natural fiber bristle mascara wand, and the other side is a spiky plastic wand. This is a cute idea, and kudos for effort. I think it's kind of gimmicky because we all tend to prefer one type of wand, so we're going to be gravitating to one side or the other. I love the natural bristle side. Holy moly. When I use this mascara, my lashes are just perfectly fanned, separated, fluffy. It looks like lash extensions. Amaze. Face Atelier Ultra Foundation Pro in 0-. I've been using this for years and I think it deserves a mention. It's my white mixer of choice when I don't want to change a foundation formula, I just want to lighten it. It mixes well with most of my favorite foundations, which tend to be kind of silicone-laden formulas, like the Armani Luminous Silk. I'll often mix the Luminous Silk in 6 with the 0- in about a 50-50 ratio, and that is my best olive foundation match. I get a lot of questions about olive foundations, and I have done a blog post on it, which I'll link on the screen, but the truth is, most of the time I end up mixing, and that's where your 0- really shines. MAC 24-Hour Extend Eye Base. This is crazy. I don't think that I've included this in a yearly favorites, and it absolutely deserves a mention because this stuff is holy grail. Oop, that's my mummy. Can I call you back later? Thanks. It's quite a grippy eyeshadow primer, so when you're using pigments or soft eyeshadows, they really adhere to the eye. This is also something that I say is a must-have for hooded eyelids, because hooded eye people, you know my struggle. You go to put a beautiful shimmer onto the lid, and then you open your eyes and the shimmer's up into the crease and it's moving around. This helps to prevent that. Surprise! Tarte Shape Tape, nobody's surprised. I've used this in countless tutorials this year. And it's my go-to concealer when I'm wearing a full face of makeup because it offers epic coverage, great longevity, and it pictures beautifully. I do get questions every now and again and comments saying, Karima, I have dry skin like you and I cannot get Shape Tape to work. And I think it comes down to my skin prep. I use very emollient skincare. The Dr. Spiller Collagen Cream, I mentioned that in last year's favorite, love, life-changing. I do want to point out though, I don't wear Shape Tape on a day-to-day basis. It's just too much and too stark against an otherwise minimal makeup look. For an everyday kind of concealer, I love the Becca Aqua Luminous Perfecting Concealer. So this has more of a light to medium coverage, and I'll often take it under the eyes, but also bits between the brows, anywhere where I have a little bit of redness, maybe a little bit on the jawline. This one doesn't look makeup-y, and it's quite dewy, so it sits really nicely on very dry skin types. It does have the tendency to crease, right? But it's something that I can easily just pat out. It is so much more important to me that my daytime concealer isn't cakey or dry. I can kind of deal with creasing. Definitely one of my favorite highlight discoveries of 2017, the Stila Starlight Star Bright Highlight Palette, but mostly this middle shade here, which is kitten and is available in a single form. You might remember a lot of creators were reviewing this formula as the putty highlight because it has a very kind of soft, velvety, kind of squishy formula. You know what? It does remind me of the ColourPop highlights, if you're familiar with those. I feel like it's the catchphrase of the moment. Everything's about the wet looking highlight and the glossy highlight, and this, I think, is the kind of product that can achieve that look. When you are faced straight ahead, the highlight on the cheekbone doesn't have any cast, right? It doesn't have an ashy cast or a color cast. It's only as you tilt your head and the light hits it in just the right angle that it beams. And it meshes really beautifully into the skin. It kind of performs like a cream highlight, but it can be applied like a powder highlight with a brush. Infatuated. The Cover FX Perfect Setting Powder. So I think that the best way to review this would be to compare it to some of my other favorite powders. So if we were to compare the Perfect Setting Powder to the Rouge Bunny Rouge Diaphanous, this is not quite as invisible. The Rouge Bunny Rouge is still my #1 pick for no makeup, but it's not as powdery and as heavy as something like the Laura Mercier translucent powder. It's a really nice middle of the road powder that I would totally recommend to any dry skin types. One thing to note is that it does have silica listed in the ingredient list, so for very special occasions like weddings, graduations, big things like that, I still opt for the Laura Mercier Translucent because I really trust that this one will not flash back in any photographic setting. But clearly, I have a wardrobe of powders. The NYX Slide On, Glide On, Stay On, and definitely a Turn On something something color lip liner. What? The NYX lip liner in Nude Suede shoes. Okay, this is another product that doesn't feature much on my channel because it lives in my handbag. So I always pop on some lip balm, a really generous coat of lip balm, and then I scribble this all over the lips. Actually, I'm gonna put this on for you. It pales down my lips a little bit, but not too much. It's like the perfect blush nude kind of shade. It goes with all kinds of eye looks and every single outfit possible. Much recommend. The Hourglass Vanish Stick Foundation. This is the only foundation stick that I've truly enjoyed. Recently I tried the new foundation stick from NARS. I've tried the Smashbox offering. I own the Tom Ford foundation stick. Do not like them at all. They just exacerbate texture and they kind of feel a little bit waxy and draw attention to dehydration. But the Vanish is fabulous. Epic coverage. It's definitely one that I tend to reserve for more glam looks, and I'm actually wearing it today. My only critique is that the product is like butter, which is wonderful, but it also means that you go through it really fast. You don't get a lot of product and it's pretty expensive, but even so, I would continue repurchase because it is that good. I did have a bit of a struggle with the shade selection though, and in the end, after much trial and error, I like to use the shade Bisque, which is lighter, down the central portions of the face, and then I'll take the shade Beige around the perimeter of the face. And that way I get a little bit of a contour highlight thing going on. It takes a lot to impress me when it comes to hydrating masks because my skincare routine is already so emollient that it's got to bring something really special to the table. The Dermalogica Skin Hydrating Mask, this is such a problem solver kind of product for me. So if I have over-exfoliated, slather this on and sleep in it. If my skin is parched after a flight, get on my face. Even if my hands are like kind of cracked and peely, boom. FYI, it doesn't completely sink into the skin, at least not in the kind of quantities that I'm slathering. That's something that I really love about it, but I do recognize that some people don't like going to bed with kind of tacky skincare, in which case you could probably remove the mask, but I think it's best to sleep in it. One of my very best discoveries of all time, Invisibobble. If you are a migraine sufferer with long hair, you need this in your life. It kind of gets the hair out of your face and into a top knot without creating so much tension that you get a headache. Also, it doesn't create kinks in the hair, which is fab if you are trying to preserve a hairstyle. So if I've done curls one day, that evening I'll put my hair in a really loose top knot with the Invisibobble, and that's the best method that I've found to extend and preserve my curls for second day curls. What did I do without this thing? Truly. I actually had a weekend recently where I thought I misplaced it and I freaked out. There must be Invisibobbles all around me, you know. I'm a trail of Invisibobbles. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you have questions about the products that I've spoken about today, then let me know in the comment section below because I am always in the comment section, just responding to questions or just chatting with you guys. So definitely leave your comments down below and let me know what are some of your 2017 discoveries or some of your 2017 favorites, because I would like to know so that I may purchase them and then they'll be featured next year. I hope you're having a wonderful day, whatever it is that you're up to, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Bye.